Just kind of talking about some stuff that doesn't usually get talked about, I guess. I feel like I have done so much healing around my situation to where I can actually speak about stuff without being emotionally triggered at all. So that's pretty huge for me. Um, and I'm kind of just sitting very calmly lately, and kind of very it is what it is type of a thing. And so I can speak about the situation of being a single mom, not from an emotionally reactive point of view, but as like just stating facts. Um, and I think there's a lot of women out there, there's a lot of single moms who didn't necessarily, well, okay, probably no one just says, oh, I want to be a single mom. I think a lot of us had to make a very hard decision, if we are with people who are literally making our lives hell. Um, and sometimes when you have the type of a toxic relationship where, you know, it's not hell every single day, but it's the walking on eggshells, it's the raging partner, and yeah, so it might be a 50-50 split, or whatever, it may just repeat a repetitive cycle of love bombing, and then um there's a whole cycle where it happens. Oh, they're so sorry, things get good again, and then they blow up again, and then it's like the cycle repeats and the cycle repeats. And yes, people can change. Yes, people can heal. But if they don't see any issue with their actions and the way they live, then no, they will not change and they will not heal. And I think that's one of the most devastating parts, because so many single moms are with these men who are just fucking shit. Like, let's call it for what it is. These men have anger issues. These men have mommy issues. They are just, in general, completely emasculated, offer absolutely no masculine protection or providing or containment. Um, and it's like somehow wounded women do get sucked into this because of our, our self-esteems might be low for whatever reason, childhood or just whatever trauma. Um, and you really start to believe that you deserve this kind of treatment. And so people do stay in these relationships. Women do stay in these relationships. And knowing how shitty it is to be a single mom, there's no one else here to do anything. You're doing it on your own. You're missing out on the luxuries of someone providing. You're missing out on simple pleasures such as family time or whatever. You're missing out on bigger things too, like vacations, family outings. You're missing out on a lot by being a single mom. And so, my question or my statement is, at any point, do any of these men kind of like take responsibility and say, wow, she's choosing the hardship of being a single mother over a relationship with me? And I know the women really understand me here, because I think it's easy to find a good woman. Good women, I think, are there naturally. We want to just belong to one man. We want to just be home with our kids. We want that family life. Most women, I will say, who get into that. Now, the ones who don't have any interest in it, that's cool too. I'm not talking to you guys, though. I'm talking about women who did want that family. You know, um, Looking back now, seeing things from a completely neutral perspective, I can see in hindsight, wow, I really basically put up with so much shit that I didn't deserve, and there came one point where it was like, wow, I can't live like this anymore. Um and you see memes about it and stuff like, wow, do these men ever think, hey, maybe I could have treated her better, maybe I could have just um do they ever think that? I don't think so. I don't think they do. I really don't think that they actually do, because yes, I totally believe people can change, people can grow, people can heal. Yes, 100%. But if that person does not see any issue within themselves, then no. No, they can't. Um, and that's, I think, what a lot of devastating things are. I think by the point in time where a woman has to make that decision to stay in the relationship or leave the relationship and become a complete single mother, um, at that point we've just begged and tried and stayed through the hard times and suggested to, like, let's break these patterns, like, for me it was really big deal that I wanted to break the patterns of everything. I didn't want to repeat anything that I witnessed in my own family. And I sure as fuck wasn't going to go along with repeating stuff that he'd seen in his family. So, like, I wasn't going to go along with that, and I'm not going to go along with what I was taught. And I was very much being called to detox from the toxic behavior, like, and stuff. If you're raised in toxicity, which most of us, I think, were, you have no example. You actually don't know what a red flag is, because it just seems like normal to you, because that's all you know. And I was living in fight or flight. My nervous system was literally living in fight or flight, probably as long as I can remember. And so with trauma comes nervous system dysregulation. And for those of you who know the difference, it's like, it's just a huge difference. And once your nervous system is regulated, it's like you just aren't interested in being around the type of a person who would dysregulate you. Basically, you're just not interested in it. So I sit there and I see, the situations that I had attracted into my life, unknowingly, of course, because no conscious person would have ever chosen the shit that I had gotten myself into ever. So this was all subconscious. This was all a mixture of my subconscious programming, my unconscious programming, and unfortunately, my body that was trapped in fight, flight, or freeze. And when you're trapped in that, or fight or flight, when you're trapped in that um, nervous system dysregulation, you can't attract anything peaceful to you because you just don't have peace within you. So that was a really hard lesson to learn, and a lot of work. Um, but I would never understand when somebody would say, gosh, your energy is just so like, they're like, you're just like, in motion, and they couldn't describe it, and I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know how to not feel like that, but it always made me feel like very much that I'm just like drowning. Like I can't stop kicking. I can't stop flailing my arms and trying to breathe above water is what I've always kind of felt like, because every little thing was always just so overwhelming, because there had never been a time when my needs were met. So having to be the single mom and making sure everybody else was taken care of but me never being taken care of, I mean, that really fucked me up bad. And as much as I just wanted someone amazing to come along and like take the reins of this family and just be that amazing man, that amazing daddy, that just never happened. And so I've been just alone and using this time to really just do a lot of healing around this, learning the differences between masculinity and femininity, and learning like huge reasons why the world and society is so fucked up. A lot of it, people are traumatized, men are traumatized, and when the men are traumatized, they can't treat women how they deserve to be treated. So it's just another ongoing cycle, and it's a cycle I just didn't want to be a part of. I just couldn't anymore. So yeah, I'm just kind of here touching base on some of that stuff, but I just feel just very uninterested in anything that's not going to be adding positivity. Um, and I realize that that want that I had, that like strong pull and that strong need that I felt for a partner, a lot of the time was because my nervous system was dysregulated. So I just remember like you know, when I was more in an active union with my twin flame, a big part of that was when I was next to him, I felt calm. I felt good. I felt like I was safe. And so I was kind of like using him as co-regulation, where now I feel like I'm regulating myself. And I mean, gosh, going into the whole twin flame thing, that's a whole nother long video, I'm sure. But when we as the feminines are so wounded that we crave so much to have that calm and that peace and that safety that we feel from our twin flame, that we will put up with their bullshit aspects of them as well. And it's because when you do meet your twin flame, you just feel so complete and so good when you're near them. And so you're kind of willing to put up with whatever. And no one's going to heal like that. No one's going to grow like that. So that's why sometimes, well, yeah, the universe will cause a forced separation between twins, because I think the biggest thing is they want the female to learn how to regulate her own nervous system. And I didn't really know what that meant until I literally took this class about it, and then it happened. So, wow, I wish that I could have had that happen years and decades ago. I just wonder how different life could have been. And I was thinking, wow, is this what normal people feel like? Normal people who haven't experienced abandonment and trauma and stuff. I think they just, no wonder they just are more chill, or not so obsessed with love or whatever. Well, because I could regulate myself through a guy. I could feel good with his body on mine, and I could regulate myself that way. And now I feel like I'm already regulated, and I'm like, like, I mean, if my twin flame called me today and was like, come get me, I still would. But like, as for like other people, I don't know. I'm just not, I don't really care. It's hard to describe. And I just feel like the emotional triggers that I had around stuff is gone. Um, from a place of complete deep diving into that pain. And I'm not saying maybe I'll never have anything ever come up ever again. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that speaking about things now is easier for me because I have healed the triggers that used to really affect my ability to speak about things, let's say, especially talking about the abandonment when my husband, left, and stuff like that. Things that have happened to me, I would still be crying about. It would be hard for me to talk, and I could feel like just heavy emotion welling up inside of me and like wanting to come out because I never processed that. So it was still stuck in me. And now I feel like I've cried it out, I've processed it out, I've healed it. I'm just not really triggered by a lot right now. And it's peaceful, and yet it's boring also at the same time. So yeah. So, yep, that's what we're talking about today. But yes, I can see that it's a big difference now. And I had been doing healing work for now almost going on like 3 freaking years. And really, really heavily for the past 2 years. Really, really dedicated to this. So it is not an overnight thing. I mean, you can get to like quantum leaps and quantum jumps to where shit does change overnight, or how you feel changes in an instant. But it's really, I mean, I guess the more issue, the more trauma, the more issues, the more shit you've been through before you start the healing, I guess, is the longer it would take. But um it's been a lot of wasted years. It's really, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I look back on it and I just think, wow, um, certain experiences that I've never got to experience. I mean, it feels like a lot of wasted time. But then I also know that I have like a deeper purpose, because I'll be honest with you, I would have been so happy and so content to just live within the four walls of a home and just be a mom and be a wife. And if any of these men that I was with had ever just treated me right and I didn't have to flee for our safety every fucking time, I would have still continued to just be a very content mom and wife. I would have been so content with that life. I would have not wondered, is there more out there? I would have not gotten thrown into a spiritual journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I truly would have just been very content with that family life. And, obviously now, I'm on a pretty deep spiritual path. And yeah, I like to try to go have fun when I can. But, it's the deeper meaning, it's the multidimensionality, it's the path that if I was just having a happy little life, would have never, ever even thought about getting thrown into. You know what I mean? And that's why they say, uh, religions are for people who are afraid of going through hell and to hell, and spirituality is for those of us who've been there. So you don't wake up to God creator, and you don't wake up to a spiritual path because you have a happy life. You get there through the darkest of suffering. So yeah, I'd like to think that I'm making a pretty big jump in my spiritual path. Just by the way of that, I'm able to speak up a little bit without the emotional triggers and all that. So, if anyone has any suggestions, like, do you want to hear me talk about a certain thing? Comment below. If anybody wants to hear me speak on any certain subjects, comment below. um, stuff's just, it is what it is, and I am going to probably make a video talking about like some more of the positive aspects of being a single mom. And that's coming up from rock bottom. Obviously a wonderful loving partner and a wonderful life is going to top any of that. But when you are more at the rock bottom level and you are experiencing abuse, neglect, trauma, and things of like that, and you wonder, could I ever be a single mom? There are some more positive aspects of it, and I might make a video about that. One day I do hope to find, love, happiness, and speak about that and how that makes someone feel. But until then, I can really say that I feel like I am at peace, even with all the perceived pain and, everything like that. I feel like even in the face of someone flipping out at me, even in the face of things not going well, I'm truly like very unbothered by things. And I can say that was because my nervous system is now regulated, which, wow. So yeah. Anyway, I am doing healing sessions for people to do the technique that I learned about in this class. But yeah, I guess I'm just on here to say hi. Out of all of my YouTube channels, this channel, Sassy Rockstar 3, has the most subscribers. So this is the most popular channel, and it's just my random channel. It's like, I feel like if I had a friend, this is a conversation maybe I'd just be having with a friend. But I think I'm reaching more people who may want to hear the messages by doing it on a video. And yeah, so, okay. See ya.